Caring for loved ones can be physically, emotionally, and mentally draining. Often, caregivers may begin to neglect self-care and even feel guilty if they take time off to care for themselves. Spending time on caregiving can also cause many to lose social support and connectiveness, and even their identity. It's important to recognize that caregivers need to practice self-care and maintain their well-being in order to better care for themselves and their loved ones. To better support the caregivers, the Agency for Integrated Care developed a framework to build a Caregiver Support Network, or CSN in short, with the intent of enabling caregivers to care for themselves and become pillars of support for one another. Imagine a community where caregivers can feel included, involved, and supported by fellow caregivers in the community. I'm Nicholas. Today, let's talk about what CSN is and how you can start one in your community. A CSN, which was started as one of the initiatives under Dementia-Friendly Singapore, aims to support and connect caregivers caring for persons living with dementia, mental health, or other chronic condition. To achieve its objectives, CSN has 3 key focus areas. They are self-care, peer support network, and recognition. Firstly, caregivers need to care for themselves. Recognizing caregivers are also individuals with personal needs, CSN is designed to promote the caregiver's well-being. Through a peer support network, caregivers can learn and seek support from one another. Finally, CSN hopes to provide opportunities for caregivers on self-development and learning. Caregivers can step up as caregiver peers and lead programs by tapping on their strengths, talents, and interests. This will boost their morale, confidence, and self-worth. CSN is not only targeting existing caregivers who are burnt out or looking for respite or support, but it's also open to former caregivers who have rich experiences that others can tap on. Former caregivers can mentor and share their caregiving experiences with existing caregivers, motivate and provide social and emotional support. Potential caregivers who may not expect to become caregivers in the immediate future, but will be caring for someone at some point in their lives, may be invited to join the CSN to be better equipped for their future caregiving role. Bringing a group of caregivers together and keeping it going is never easy. Before deciding on building a CSN for your community, ask yourself, have you identified a champion? A champion who can lead the CSN. This person should be a familiar face to the caregivers and able to bring people together with their charming personality and circle of influence. What's most important is that this person is going to be the face of the CSN. So he or she must be passionate about forming the network and staying committed. Is there an existing pool of caregivers you can leverage for recruitment? It would be beneficial to leverage on existing network of caregivers by working with other community partners. This is to avoid duplication of work. From this pool of caregivers, you can identify and recruit caregiver peers who can act as facilitators and help plan and facilitate discussions, activities, or outings. He or she must be able to care and connect with other caregivers and, most importantly, be an advocate for self-care. Is this appropriate in supporting your caregiver's needs? Some caregivers may prefer to share their challenges and emotions with a professional or with more privacy. CSN is possible only when a group of caregivers are open to share their challenges and emotions with one another. With that, it is important to create a safe space for caregivers to share and be heard, allowing them to effectively interact with one another, build strong relationships, and motivate each other via a supportive network. If you have a positive response to the above questions, congratulations! You are ready to embark on the journey in setting up a CSN. There are 3 phases in setting up a CSN: planning, implementation, and review. In the planning phase, it is important that you identify the caregiver needs and target audience. You should also find out if there are local stakeholders or existing caregiver support groups you can collaborate with. You can organize a Gopi chat, an informal focus discussion to suss out interest on the ground. Next is implementation. The first 3 months will be devoted to fostering social connectivity. After that, you can start in-depth sharing and building strong relationships through the creation of small groups and buddy systems. Lastly, on review, seek feedback from caregivers. Do this at least once a year or every 6 months when you are planning the next series of activities and programs. I'd say a successful CSN is one that achieves these 3 things, where caregivers take time to engage in self-care activities and socialize regularly via physically or virtually, where support networks are in place and caregivers can support one another through regular meeting sessions and communication platforms such as WhatsApp group chat. And finally, where caregivers grow confidence to step up as caregiver peers to lead activities and support their peers by tapping on their strengths, talents, and interests. Want to find out more details in setting up a CSN? Scan the QR code to download the CSN Toolkit or email aic@ccmh@aic.sg for inquiries. This toolkit is specially designed to empower community partners and individuals in setting up a CSN that emphasizes self-care, peer support, and recognizing caregivers' well-being in the community.